Okay then, now that we've taken care of Axel, we'll use a password to get back on to the next level on hard. And one thing I forgot to mention last time, if you play this game on easy, once you beat Axel and the robot, the game just stops right there and says beat the game on normal. And duck in those little alcoves to avoid the giant Mode 7 missiles. This is another case of just duck down and wait for them to pass by kind of thing. It's another sit and wait kind of mechanic, but at least you get to see some cool Mode 7. Well, this game's only a case of Mode 7, I think, but it's actually a pretty good use of it. And you can hit the soldiers with your sword beams, but it's risky to hit them when you're in the alcoves. So yeah, more of the same of this stuff, and oh, I just barely got him there, even though it didn't look like I could reach him with that projectile attack. And yeah, that's why you don't want to attack once rockets over you, because if you attack, you'll get pinned and die instantly. So let's just pretend that didn't happen and just continue on. Well, there's not much else going on here, so I might as well talk about something else. In terms of the rocket eating in this game, I find that a bit odd that it doesn't rely on ricocheting off of walls that much. It doesn't seem to be designed around it. It seems to be designed more around the fact that you have to boost and then do the rolling attack to like get up ledges and stuff instead of doing angling ricocheting. Because I find that much easier to do instead of like relying on ricocheting in this game. But that's just how I feel about this game. It's not really a bad thing. It's just something that stands out a bit more from the others. And oh, little cheap asshole there. And whoa, you gotta watch out because these missiles can come at you pretty fast. So it's definitely advised to take your time here. And I know this part kind of drags out a little bit, but it's not too long, thankfully. You know, that's a lot of missiles we passed by so far. There's like, I mean, how many missiles are being shot at what, Sparkster's kingdom or whatever the missiles are going to? But thankfully after a while they stop coming. You can just keep going to the missile bay, and yeah, don't rush through this area like I am. It's definitely advised to take your time with this game, because I know it's fun to be able to rocket around and stuff, but in fact with all the Rocket Knight games it is a good idea to take your time. Or rather, to balance out when to use the rockets at the appropriate times. Because once you know the game well enough, you can do a good balance of being able to rocket around and taking your time enough to not take so much damage. And now we're going up this shaft, and there's this wolf robot thing. It doesn't really attack you, it just sort of just floats around and tries to run into you. But you can just keep sword swiping it, and the LNR rolling definitely helps out with maneuverability in this part. And so that was actually pretty easy of a mini-boss. And once we get past here, there's these guys in robot walkers. These things are actually very easy to defeat. You don't need to even use the rocket boost like I'm doing here, or the rocket spins. One sword swipe or even one projectile from your sword will do the trick against those things. They'll just destroy them. And I needed that apple badly. These things on the wires, it's best to destroy them from above or below, depending on where you are. Because if you're on the same thing as them, the same rope or beam, whatever they are, they'll shoot an electrical current and they can still hurt you. And if we can go in here and grab some health and some more gems. And get that last one. And yeah, it's best to don't go diagonally up like I did. Just take your time. You can look up and down. It'll scroll up and down for you if you do that. That way you can take your time and destroy these things carefully. The electro robot bugs or whatever they are. Okay, now we should be coming up to some health there, and now we're at the core, I believe it is, or the reactor, or whatever this thing is. It almost looks like a mother brain kind of thing, but here this boss is actually really easy if you're willing to spend a lot of time here. Because if you stand all the way here and just keep using your sword attack, you can just wail at it, but it takes a long ass time to do it. So I'll just cut ahead here. See, the more you destroy those things protecting it, the faster it'll go. You obviously just want to try and hit the gems if you can, but again, it'll take a little while. And we just need one more. Okay, come on. Yeah, this thing is kind of, I don't know, it seems almost pointless to me, but whatever. We destroyed it, and it sets off a power bomb and slowly disintegrates. Well, that was fun and took way too long, but hey, I like to be safe rather than reckless in this game. And thankfully they give you plenty of health in case you are reckless against that boss. And these things here, there's a laser that shoots and they'll ricochet off of them. It's actually a pretty original enemy design in that regard, but it's best to, again, take your time with these things and destroy them from a distance rather than just trying to rush through like I did. I don't know. I think I guess they're just like mirrors or like something that's reflective to just so the laser can bounce off of. And whoa, that was close. And yeah, you got to be quick if you want to try and avoid those. You can destroy them all if you want to, but again, that'll take way too long. And these things they have rocket packs. But the funny thing about these enemies are they don't really attack down. They don't attack down towards you. So as long as you don't get on the same level as them, you won't take damage from them. So you can just go up and... So it's best to attack them from below if you can. But sometimes they'll be in positions where you'll have to, like, if you're lucky, you can do rolling attacks like there to destroy them. Or just very quickly react and hit them that way with your sword. And we got a couple more walkers to deal with. And we should be coming up, yes. We're now in a giant tube in space. Which means we're almost up to the final boss. Okay, there's the princess, who is actually not Princess Sherry, if I'm to believe. It's actually Princess Flora, according to Wikipedia. I don't have the manual, so I'm just going by that. And there's a missile, giant missile that's going for Earth, and there's the boss, Linus. He has several attacks that can do quite a few different things. He has a lightning attack where you just have to stay in the middle and just not move to avoid taking damage. He also has a fire-breathing attack right there that you have to try and jump over. And he also has those wave projectiles that go back and forth. And as you can see there, I instantly got killed. Several lives and continues later. You know, I wonder why that missile of all things is the one that destroys the planet, not those ones that we dodged earlier, but whatever. So with this boss, it's best to if you want to try and be safe, the sword projectiles are a pretty good way to be safe against him, to stand a fair distance away from him and you can anticipate his attacks. You can rocket into him, but sometimes you can get stuck by him, and that's not really a good idea to get. And sometimes he'll throw multiple attacks at you. Like if he throws, sometimes he'll throw attacks where you can't even dodge unless you do a really fancy rocket attack or something. And you can rocket into him, but I advise to do like you hit him around the middle, because if you hit him at his feet, you'll corkscrew into him instead of bouncing away. So there's that. And if you actually rocket away from his attacks, you can avoid his lightning barriers pretty easily that way. And yes, we got him after quite a few tries that thankfully I didn't show. And okay, he freed her, but he's not going to. And I think he's a robot now that I look at it. And hey, Sparkster, you might want to look. He's oh, well, that's what you get for not paying attention, Sparkster. Oops, there goes the missile, which is actually a giant-ass missile, even though it didn't look that huge on that screen. Quick, let us very slowly escape! Hey look, an escape pod from Rocket Knight Adventures. Alright, Princess Flora or Sherry look-alike, you get in the pod, but unfortunately, Sparkster has to go after the missile. If you beat this boss on normal, Sparkster will go in the escape pod with her, and Linus won't launch the missile. So now we have to go to the missile. And this is the last stage you get that you can only play on hard. This is actually a very straightforward level. There's only like a few wolf things you have to destroy, which you can destroy very easily with a sword projectile attack. And you just keep going right, and eventually you'll meet up with the final boss, which is this wolf purple Lightbulb thing. And as you can see, it spews quite a few things at you. There's these fire wolf things that it throws out at you, as well as it has a laser beam attack. Of course, what you're supposed to do is attack its the light bulb and try and break it, but that's easier said than done, especially when I go all over the place and die. Several more lives and continues later. Let's try this again. This time I have the pattern down. With these things, the firewolves, you just attack it with a sword. You can actually get rid of them with your sword attacks, thankfully. Otherwise, it'd be overwhelming. And with the laser beam there, you can attack it if you time it right. You have to make sure to go after it as soon as the laser goes away. But it's tricky and probably is actually a little bit risky. So if you want to play it safe, you don't attack it because it has a third phase where it drops a bunch of bombs. And this is the best opportunity to attack it. Of course, you have to avoid all these bombs to begin with. And yeah, sometimes it's best not to just go after the light bulb during the laser, because the timing with the laser and attacking it and not getting hit is tricky. Fortunately, after a while, it just goes into a pattern of fire wolves, laser beam, and then bombs. And of course, the bombs can still hurt you. The rolling actually can help you destroy the bombs and avoid them at the same time. So it's just a matter of just following this simple pattern. And the best opportunity to attack the bulb without getting hit is during the bombing phase. And unless you want to try and risk attacking it during the laser beam or even the firewolf phase, you can actually, it is possible to like rocket through all of them and hit the light bulb, but then you're vulnerable after hitting it. So it's not, like I said, it's best to just go after it during this phase, during the whole bombing. But of course you have to time it correctly so that you can rocket through all those bombs and hit the bulb. Now that I look at this thing, is it supposed to be like the spirit of the leader, or maybe like it's an alien since it's attacking our planet? Because it's almost like the pig monitor guy in Rocket Knight Adventures, but I don't know. And it doesn't also help that it throws like all these fire wolves at you. Are those also spirits of wolves too? And Linus, the boss we just killed earlier, was a robot, I think, so I don't know, it's all a little bit confusing, but whatever. We have to kill this thing and stop the missile so Sparkster's kingdom can be safe, of course. Yes! We got him! Alright then, and we see more wolf things to get out, but that doesn't really matter. And we did it. We beat the game. Now we can enjoy this ending cutscene. I don't know. There's something about this game that kind of puts me off a little bit with its cutscenes. They seem a little too stilted, a little too, I don't know. They don't seem to have a whole lot of effort put into it compared to the rest of the game, but that's just me. And hey, look, it's the same place from the intro. See what I mean about kind of being stilted cutscenes? And oh no, Sparkster! I'll dry my tears with this grilled cheese sandwich. Ah, hey, what's up? Yay, he's safe, of course. So we just saw him get out, obviously, but, well, she didn't know this. And of course, instead of getting laid, Sparkster must keep his knight valor and go off and continue his adventures, I suppose. And that was Sparkster for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I enjoy this game, just like the others. In its own way, of course. The only problems I really had with this game was the Axel fight, of course, in the robot, and the slowdown it had now and then, but other than that, I still enjoyed this game pretty well. And look, there's Axel Ueda, which was the main programmer in Axel. You can't spell Axel without Axel. Heh. Yeah. So, and that also does it for the Rocket Knight games for 16-bit Winter. As for 16-bit Winter itself, I probably am going to do maybe one more game for 16-bit Winter, and it'll be something for the Sega CD, that's all I'm going to say. And, well, I know Winter's kind of ending pretty soon, but according to Zero Master's rules, as long as you start a game on the 31st, that'll still count it towards 16-bit Winter. When I compare this game to the Genesis sequel, I kind of like them both equally in terms of like what they both did. As sequels, I think they're pretty good, but they're definitely not. They definitely don't have the same feel as Rocket Knight Adventures, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, to me, both Sparkster on Super Nintendo and Genesis sort of took concepts from both and went in different directions with it. And I think that's actually very interesting that this sequel essentially split off into two different games. And challenge very hard mode. No thanks, I really don't want to do that. So, that was Sparkster for the Super Nintendo. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see all of you later.